It's a fine balance on the border between control and the loss of it. For most drivers, when the back end of the car swerves, it's a nightmare. For most professionals, it's art. Because a drift is a controlled loss of control, in which you take an unstable driving condition and try to keep it stable. It looks easy, but in reality it's extremely difficult. Even experienced rally drivers sometimes have a nasty surprise.
Nein, das gibt's nicht.
No, I don't believe this. This is the biggest load of crap ever. Damn. The Sachsenring circuit, the longest corner in the world. This is where a rally driver and a race driver will attempt to break not just 2 world records for continuous drifts, but get those records into the Guinness Book of Records. That's where the current drift records stand. One at 7 minutes and one at 2 hours and 21 minutes, non-stop. We've deliberately chosen a surface which will protect the equipment. If we want to drift over a long period, we have to have tires for that, and so we really have to drive on this low-friction surface. You can see the difference. Here we have the non-slip surface, and then there's a paint coating, and when you combine that with water, it has roughly the same friction as dry snow. It's still quite controllable, and ultimately tradable too. Unfortunately, there's a catch, because only one of them can actually drift. Finland, 2008, and Uwe Nittel is giving race driver Mitch Mittländer lessons in drifting. But Mitch's experience is on circuits, and he spent his whole career in motorsport trying to avoid drifts. They cost time, so Mitch has some catching up to do. If you notice that the back starts to come around too strongly, you start to steer against it. By that I mean really steer, full lock. And an important thing about the four-wheel drive, you don't ease up on the gas, keep it on so that the front axle keeps pulling. If you ease up on the gas, you'll turn in. That needs to be embraced, so you have to practice it.
Aber das muss natürlich verinnerlicht sein und dazu muss man natürlich auch ein bisschen üben.
If Mitch blows it, it probably won't be down to the car. The Mitsubishi Evolution 10 comes from rally sport, the only motorsport discipline where drifts help you win. The Evo 10 produces 295 horsepower, enough to keep moving even when the tires are at right angles to the direction of travel. But the high point is its active four-wheel drive system, which allows torque to be varied to individual axles and wheels. The foundations for a drift, first of all, you need the right entry velocity. You steer in until the car reacts, and then you use the handbrake to give the rear axle a little nudge, which means that the rear wheels start to spin, and you're in a drift. Now it's Mitch's turn. If they want to beat the world record of 7 minutes for a parallel drift, Mitch has to practice. And let it turn, steer inwards, then it'll turn. Lots of gas, then it'll move outwards. That's like fully braking. Slowly, slowly. Gas, gas. That was a mistake. Ultimately, it's like driving on the edge of a knife. Mitch, you're doing really well. That's fine, we'll manage it. You're just trying to encourage me.
Aber Mitch, das machst du richtig gut. Das passt, das schaffen wir.
Ja, du machst mir nur Mut. Du willst mich nur motivieren, das merke ich schon. Da fehlt schon was.
It takes full concentration. I'm sitting there as tense as if I'm doing 250 on the motorway. If the window is open, even a crack, water sprays in sideways and makes me dirty. It's as strenuous as a race for me, but not for Uwe. He's in hysterics about that. But it's intense, it's fun, and now I'm confident that we'll manage it. The publishers of the Guinness Book take their records very seriously. The cost is around 670 euros. Guinness is quite strict about it. They have a lot of requirements, but that's a good thing. So afterwards we'll be able to say with certainty and prove how it went and how we did it. For one thing, we have to document it with photos, film footage and independent witnesses. Secondly, we'll have a GPS recorder in the car which will log our movements in real time, including their length, the drift angle, the G-forces, the speed and the length of the drift. That's a voluntary addition that we're putting in.
Macht in Echtzeit, schreibt er mit, wo wir uns bewegt haben, also haargenau, wie lang, welcher Driftwinkel, welche G-Kräfte, welche Geschwindigkeit und welche Länge des Drifts wird angezeigt. Und den bauen wir freiwillig ein und den gibt man dann dazu.
The time has come. Today, Mitch and Uwe hope to break not one but two world records for drifting. The parallel drift of 7 minutes in a single drift of 2 hours and 21 minutes. All of the Guinness requirements are met, and even the GPS device is ready. But Mitch is still feeling a little bit queasy.
I
don't want to say that I don't trust myself, but you have to be self-critical, and it's just clear to me that I still have a lot to learn, and that I need luck. I hope that this works. If Mitch fluffs it, the record attempt is on the line for both of them, Uwe too.
Okay, ich sag mal 3.
Okay, I'll say 3, 2, 1, go. Both cars are now on the track. Both Evos must drift in parallel for at least 8 minutes. Only then will they break the first record. Both have to drive at the same speed, otherwise one will overtake the other. I have to make sure that I'm always a little bit ahead of the car in my mind and that I recognize relatively quickly what the car is going to do. For me, this is all fairly new territory. It takes 110% concentration. Uwe in the red is faster than Mitch in the black, and that's a problem. Heiko, put some water on the track. The water's coming. The water lowers the sliding friction so the drivers can increase their drift angle and reduce speed. But is it enough? Mitch, I'm too fast. You have to let me pass somehow, otherwise I'm going to have a problem soon. I'll try and drive faster. Driving faster means drifting faster. Will Mitch manage it? Then it happens. Mitch loses his car. And how long was it? 13 minutes and 3 seconds. Well, then that's enough. If Uwe manages the 3 hours, then we've got it in the bag. Cool. The world record for a parallel drift is broken. Their double drift lasted 13 minutes and 3 seconds. The second record will take somewhat longer. Uwe now has to drift for another 2 hours. In the end, the drift is about power tolerance. That means you put your foot down and try to use the power to make the wheels spin and then use a special four-wheel drive technique. The more you steer inwards, the more the car becomes a rear-wheel drive, which means that the back end comes round further and further. The more you steer straight, the more you involve the front axle, and you have a front-wheel drive car. And that's how you constantly adjust the drift accordingly to what you need. It has to become part of your flesh and blood so that it happens automatically.
Ja, es muss in Fleisch und Blut übergehen, dann geht es letztendlich automatisch.
Mitch is worried about the technology. After all, continuous drift puts as much stress on the car as it does on the driver. During tests, we attached sensors to the drive and recorded temperatures of 128 degrees. 135 degrees becomes an emergency situation for us, and then it's over. So, of course, I'm worried about how long 3 hours are for the drive. It's never been under this much stress. We'll have to see what happens.
Uwe,
from outside, it looks like you got a different degree of lock on the steering. Do you have problems with the tires? Yeah, you notice it after 2 hours, everything weakens a bit, particularly my right foot. I've almost got a cramp. Now we've got a bit more than 20 minutes to go, and we'll manage it, right?
Ja, letztendlich haben wir jetzt, glaube ich, noch ein bisschen über 20 Minuten, aber das wird man doch auch noch mal schaffen, oder?
I've got no concerns at all about you. If you get cramp, you just keep going. I've got to fight significantly more now. That means I've got to drive with a tighter angle of steering. It's not turning in so much any longer. The outside edge of the tires is gone and there's less grip. We've got to put in more effort to compensate for that.
Aber das müssen wir jetzt mit Einsatz ein bisschen kompensieren.
I'm not worried at all now, neither about the front tires or the time. We're dead on 2 hours. What can happen now? We're aiming for 3-hour mark, and I think we'll manage it.
Das reißt runter, leger gesagt auf einer Arschbacke, und wir gehen der 3-Stunden-Marke entgegen jetzt, und ich denke, dass es passt.
A bold announcement from Mitch. The record still stands at 2 hours 21. One mistake, you can drive 2 hours and 20 minutes and make one little mistake and it'll all be for nothing. Only another 2 minutes and the record is broken. But something goes wrong. No, I don't believe this. Uwe, this is the biggest pile of crap ever. 2 hours, 19 minutes and 38 seconds. Damn. Prepare the second car. We'll have another attempt. I'll pull it off. The middle differential gave out, so the car became a front-wheel drive, and that was it. It's tough. I can hardly feel my right foot anymore, but we carry on. Bring on the next car. The record will be broken today. Period.
Ja, das war's. Ist hart kann ich euch sagen. Ich spüre kaum meinen rechten Fuß mehr. Aber es geht weiter. Das nächste Auto her, es wird der Rekord heute noch gebrochen. Punkt.
Uwe was stronger than the middle differential. But now... In the twilight, the rally world champion starts again from the beginning. Ahead of him lie 2.5 hours of continuous drift. Will the car hold out this time? The drift lasts for another 2 hours. Uwe, you've just reached the 2 hours for the second time. Brilliant achievement. How are you feeling? Is everything still working? My right leg is really tired, but we'll try to get through it. Cross your fingers for us. In a few seconds, the record will be broken. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uwe, my watch says 2 hours 22.
Uwe, auf meiner Uhr steht 3 mal die 2. 2 Stunden und 22 Minuten.
Thank God. Brilliant, people. Fantastic, Uwe. My sincere congratulations. Very well done. You've driven almost 5 hours in total. I take my hat off to you. With 2 hours and 29 minutes, Uwe Nittel is the holder of a new record for a solo drift. He's knackered. Brilliant job. Congratulations. Their entry in the Guinness Book of Records is guaranteed. Uwe's ambition was stronger than their adversities. Knackered. Physically, I went a bit floppy towards the end, so I got dizzy. I think I drove around 1,000 laps in total. Of course, I felt a bit ill occasionally, and in the end, everything went against me. After an hour, I wasn't sure whether we'd manage it, but I got back into it, and in the end, we did manage it. It was really hard work.
Ja, letztendlich haben wir es geschafft und das war eine hartes Stück Arbeit, kann ich nur sagen.
Mitch, come here. We did it.
Und geklappt hat's, gell? War super.